Well, happy Sunday, everyone. Look who we have here. It's Mikey, and we've just come out to the Mikey Lab Show, and with me is my super guest, Dennis Paul.
Hello, Mikey. I love your energy and I love your laugh. And
oh my goodness, well, I'm glad you do because, man, I have a laugh.
we should have recorded our first conversation. We were laughing so hard. It was wonderful.
Oh my goodness, guys. Welcome. I hope all of you have been having a wonderful Sunday. As usual, I'm going to say if there's anything that you can be grateful for, it would be nice if you drop that in the chat for me. Is there anything that you could have been grateful for today? I am just so grateful that I'm alive. I am so grateful that I live where there is the sunshine. I'm so glad that I have hot water in my pipes. I'm so glad that my guest is here and he taught me something new today because we did a test run on Saturday, and believe me, we were backstage and we were having fun. And I just figured out how to get my guest right from the get-go. So I'm just so excited tonight. No hiccups for Mike. Is that? That must be something.
Yes. But oxygen is so necessary for our health. And I'll talk about that later
on. Okay, all right. So guys, let me just welcome all of you to the Mikey Lab Show this afternoon. With us is Dennis Paul, and I'm going to say, in his own right, he's a hero because Dennis spent over 5 decades with Crohn's disease with serious implications. As a result of his health challenge and having to be constantly medicated, he missed out on a lot of his career opportunities and his opportunities in life generally. But he was just so sure that there had to be a different way. He decided to search for answers. And years later, he came upon a natural path to healing. And this is what he's going to share with us this afternoon. I mean, I did title the presentation this afternoon, How to Get 10 Years Younger. And I'm telling you, you're sitting down in front of the gentleman who is evidence. He hasn't aged at all. You hear how many decades he has been searching. He doesn't look as though he has lived 3 decades.
Times two.
Right. And today he has been declared disease-free. So that is something to be thankful for. Oh my goodness. Today he's declared disease-free. Now, Dennis, I did tell you I wasn't going to ask you a lot of questions this afternoon because you have so much to offer. And I know that you just have the information bubbling, but maybe just for the audience, if you could just quickly tell me, what's Crohn's disease?
Crohn's disease is an immunological imbalance in the body, which ultimately the body begins to attack the cell wall of the gut lining. Now, Crohn's disease actually, while most people think of it as just a gut disease, actually impacts the entire body. And when you have inflammation throughout the body, you have all kinds of secondary problems besides the gut. It can be related to osteoporosis, which is a bone disease. It can be related to kidney stones, just a whole host of fun things that you'll want to go through. And I think I've done just about all of them. And I can speak with authority that it's not fun. And the reason I do what I do today is, having been through it, my purpose now in life is to help other people that have chronic illnesses, diseases, or whatever, because now I understand that your body can heal itself.
Oh, wow.
You just got to give it the right tools.
The right tools.
Yes.
All right. No, Dennis, are you originally from Florida? Where are you from originally?
Well, I'm originally from Michigan.
Okay.
I grew up I grew up on a farm in Michigan, and while my father was not just a farmer, he was also a machinist for a company that made crankshafts for large equipment. My father was also an entrepreneur, so somewhere genetically, I ended up with his entrepreneurial spirit. I helped him build a golf course at the age of 12. We had one of the first Dairy Queen braziers in the country. So, it was one of those challenges where as a young man, I was able to watch my dad go for his dreams. And that played a major part, especially after I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at the age of 15.
Oh, wow.
And if you understand that at an early age like that, you really don't think of your own mortality. You're still a young guy. You really don't know much. And what I have learned is I don't know anything as I got older, or how little I really know. But at that age, I thought, well, all right, so I have a problem. I'll just live with it and deal with it. But as I started going through life, and I had my first bowel resection at the age of 26, well, when you're in the hospital for 4 months and people are telling you that you're in a critical care ward and you're going, what the hell is that? You start to figure it out. But the journey that I went on allowed me to meet so many amazing people. And that really is what I'm going to write my book about.
Okay.
A lot of people say, wow, you have to write a book.
You have to write a book. You have to write a book.
I don't have the time.
Well, record some of the stories.
That's right. But then I ask him, I say, should it be a trilogy like The Lord of the Rings, or should it be like 50 Shades of Grey? Because, man,
we'll make a pick.
But I lived a life that ended up being a movie with Bill Murray called Groundhog Day.
Oh, wow.
And from the psychological standpoint, I didn't know how long I would had of my own time in this world. So I thought, man, I'm going out. I'm going to do everything I can and experience life as much as I can, even though I have this 24/7 illness that makes me lose weight. At a very early age, we didn't have cell phones like today. We had the pay phones. And of course, you had the yellow pages and the white pages that hung down from those phone booths. and let me tell you, really good at trying to find every clean restroom in the state of Michigan, because, man, you couldn't travel too far before you needed one. So it was a different lifestyle. It was definitely challenging. But like I say, the people that I met along the way were what really made my life full. And whether they were people that were in the hospital with their particular health issues, or whether they were doctors that were a bit outside the box. Western medicine has one mentality, but naturopaths, homeopaths, and the natural world has an entirely different mentality. And quite frankly, I think they're closer to the Hippocratic Oath than Western medicine, because Hippocrates says, hey, we're going to use all natural means to help people get healed. And he actually talked about plant-based living. He didn't, and he said, if you do have to send them to a specialist, which is somebody that does cuts and drugs, why then, that person, then you really need to make sure that they need that. And I think we've kind of mixed that backwards in today's healthcare industry. Every time we have something go wrong with us, where do? We go run to the doctor. And what's he do? He gives us pills.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't work, so let's give him another one and another one. Next thing you know, you got severe liver damage, blindness, and or death. And you're going, wow, I forgot about the first thing I came in for. I'm exaggerating a bit, and I've got tremendous respect for the medical community. I really do.
Right.
But knowing what I know today, had I known it when I was at the age of 15, I could have prevented the 17 surgeries and 2 bowel resections I had, missing 18 feet of my intestine now. Now, the only thing I'm glad they didn't do is start operating on my brain, because, we know today that all disease begins and ends in the brain. So one of the things I did for pain management is I learned to be a hypnotist, and I became a board certified hypnotherapist. And the whole concept originally was to manage pain, but then I found out that the brain controls every function of the body.
Oh, yeah.
It controls our immune system, our emotions, our beliefs, everything.
Up in the brain.
Yeah, but I also learned that, like a hard drive in your computer, the brain gets corrupted, and that interferes with the communication in the body. And that could be from traumas or stress or a whole variety of issues. But in hypnosis, we remove those blockages so the energy flows smoothly and the communication in the body starts to work again. But I have probably a bit of a unique advantage over many people using hypnosis for gut diseases. And the big word is called empathy.
Okay.
Because when you live it,
I know that word.
You understand what that client is going through.
Yeah.
And so you have a much more powerful way of leading those people back to health.
Right.
Ultimately, what happened, though, was I rebuilt this awesome race car, and it's sitting on the tarmac, but it wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, I was putting bad gas in it. And you know what bad gas smells like? Oh my God! It definitely comes out the exhaust system, but I'll tell you, what we eat really plays a major part in our health. And you're hearing more of it today, but some of the message gets a little confusing. I try to help people understand it's not only what you eat, it's what you absorb.
Right.
Now, when I grew up on the farm, like say 3 decades ago, that's not very long ago, the quality of food was significantly higher in nutrition than it is today, probably 10 to 15 times more. So that orange you eat today, you have to eat 10 of them to get the same nutrients you did with an orange even 20 years ago.
Right.
So we're starving our bodies, but it's important too, because you have to have nutrition in your brain for your brain to operate properly.
Dennis, I want to quickly just stop you a little bit, because it's just going through my head. You said this Crohn's disease was from the age of 15. And I want to ask you, what were the visible signs, or what kind of what were the symptoms?
If you were to look at me, I look like, oh my gosh, I weighed about 125, maybe 130 pounds at the most, but I was bench pressing 2.25 because I'm throwing bales of hay every day. I was really physically, I looked like I was in great shape. Sitting at the dinner table, I'll never forget that first time. The pain and the cramps were so severe. I fell out of the chair on the floor, and everybody looked at me and said, "What's the matter with you?" And I went and laid on the couch, and it took hours for it to recede. So the thing about gut diseases, and we talk about it in a community, we call ourselves cronies. On Instagram. And we all talk about how people look at us and they don't realize how sick we really are.
Oh my goodness.
And a lot of my friends that I hung around with used to have all kinds of difficult jokes, I'll put it that way, If we were in a room and something happened, why they would vacate faster than kicking the dog and throwing him out the door. And to this day, even though I'm free of the disease, they're still telling jokes about me. But and if you ever want to hear part of that, I'm doing a Toastmasters competition on October 2nd. It's a humorous presentation, and it's called Poopalooza. And I go through some of my history. So if you go to the Delray Toastmasters, you'll find that listed there. But what my purpose now is, to help people get free of disease, to be healthy. But even if they're not struggling with gut diseases, there's so many other things out there. I had a conversation just yesterday with a gentleman who says, "Oh, I'm in great shape. I eat well, I exercise, there's nothing wrong with me." And I said, "Today." But I said, "Do you have an operating manual?" He goes, "What?" I said, "Well, do you have a car?" And he's going, "Yeah." I said, "Well, go in your glove box. What's in the glove box?" He goes, "Oh, a bunch of crap." I says, "All right, when you bought your car, knew what was in there." He says, "Oh, there was that book that told me how to take care of my car." I said, "Yeah." He says, what the tire pressure is supposed to be, the oil and filter, when to change it. I said, "Do you have one for your mind and your body?" And he looked at me. He goes, "Well, no." I said, "Why not? You need one." I said, "This is our vehicle that we travel in. We're abusing it every day, and we're
every single day."
So if you don't have an operating manual for yourself, how do you know what to do in order to stay healthy? He called me. Yeah, he called me 2 days later. He says, "That really stuck with me. We have to talk."
No, you've got his attention.
Yes. So,
all right. So go ahead.
What other questions might you have about Crohn's or health in general?
I was going to ask you, when you discovered that there had to be some other way, what were some of the first things that you did to come up with what could possibly be a solution for you?
Okay, that's an excellent question. I talked about hypnosis and regression to cause and getting the brain to function properly, because we have actually a brain on our head. Well, at least most of the people I meet have a brain in their head. Then you have the spinal column, which attaches to the gut. And believe it or not, those two are connected while you're in the womb. And the spinal column maintains that communication. So the important thing is brain health, mental and physical. But the thing was, I mentioned being on the tarmac with a super race car, and I had no fuel. It wasn't until I was introduced to a new technology, which is called liposomal technology.
Liposomal technology.
Yeah, and if you can think of this magic bubble where you nanoparticle nutrients, but this bubble is so small that when it goes through the gastro system, which is really harsh acids, it survive that and go down to where everything's absorbed. And they look at these bubbles like, "Oh my God, this is candy. I'm going to eat it." So it immediately takes and absorbs these bubbles. And as they become part of the cell wall and actually rebuilding the cell wall, the nutrients are released and it goes into the body. And so you're getting 100% absorption of nutrients, where the other 5,999 vitamin and supplement companies out there, you have to eat pounds of stuff to get the equivalent absorption. Because you're only absorbing 15 to 20%. Now you're getting 100. But the other amazing part is it knows where to go in the body. So if you need it in the brain, you need it in the gut, you need it in your filter organs, you need it in your heart, wherever you need it, the body sends it, and that's called bioavailability.
Okay.
Now, let me digress for a quick second.
You're allowed.
While I was diagnosed at the age of 15, I had a twin sister. Okay?
Right, you were telling me. I was going to get to that. Go ahead.
And she's better looking than me. I'll just say that.
Then she must be a beauty.
Now, three years after me, she was on her honeymoon, and she became deathly ill with a liver disease. So if you can imagine, for the next 50 years, she and I, basically lived our miserable lives in terms of health. But we always knew when one or the other was not feeling well. That's that mental connection,
Twins.
And so when I was introduced to this new technology, I picked up the phone and I said, Denise. No, how about that? Denise and Dennis.
Oh, that's too cute.
Yeah, thank you very much. I said, Denise, I think I found something. And when I told her I thought I found something, she says, I don't care what it costs. I need it. Please send it to me.
Oh, my goodness.
Let me fast forward. Within 2 weeks of each other, we went to see our, doctors individually. I didn't know she was going. She didn't know I was going. And my doctor said, Dennis, you're the first client or patient that I've had, and I've known you over 30 years, that has ever been free of the Crohn's disease.
Wow, that's a miracle.
So I pick up the phone and I call my sister and I say, Denise, how you doing? She goes, oh, Dennis, you wouldn't believe what happened today. I just went to my doctor. I said, really? She goes, yeah. And of course he wanted to do a biopsy. Well, those little needles about yay long, like a horse needle, they have to go in and do a biopsy in the liver. So, this is as much fun as going to the movies, So they did the biopsy. Her doctor came out and said, Denise, I don't know what we did wrong, but we have to do it again.
Oh, my goodness. No, that's not a joke.
No, that's not a joke.
No.
So he came out after the second one. Of course, she spent the whole day there. She couldn't do anything else. And he came out and he said, Denise, what are you doing? She goes, well, what do you mean? He says, I've known you over 3 decades. I've been your personal doctor. And this is the first time that you have normal liver function readings.
Wow.
So this technology was the game changer for us. And it's been the game changer for a lot of people, because one thing I learned from one of my nutritionists, who I think is the most brilliant people, she told me if you give your body the right tools, it will begin to heal itself in 6 months. No.
Dennis, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I have a question from the chat. Somebody said, does a plant-based diet help to correct Crohn's disease or any other bowel?
Excellent question.
Problem?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Now, here's the twist. You have to know what plants and what foods trigger problems. Okay. We call it trigger to cause. Okay. I had to go through 18 months of journaling with my nutritionist to narrow mine down. But now you can go take a simple blood sample, send it in, and they'll tell you all of the foods to stay away from until your body heals itself.
Right.
Who would have thought blueberries, spinach, Brussels sprouts, rice, and potatoes were my 5 worst triggers to cause?
Oh, my goodness.
You would think, oh my gosh, that's good food.
Oh, yeah.
But they caused inflammation in my body exponentially. So, the question of diet is spot on. You need to know how to regulate what your body's asking for. But here's the crazy part. No two of us are the same. We're all like snowflakes. We're all very unique in creation. So what you do is you use this food sensitivity analysis to determine how to make your diet. Then you need to learn how to read labels, what foods you should stay away from, high sugar, fructose, all of those nasty things. Some people have an intolerance to glutens and dairy. Right. And I stayed off of those for over a year.
Oh, and wow.
It made a difference. Now, guess what? Today, they're in my diet.
Okay.
Because I've learned to balance it with this technology of liposomes and also digestive enzymes. So right. I'm really not on a restricted diet. But one thing I do, and I tell everybody they have to do this, is what is called a liver and gallstone flush. And you can get it. Yeah, it was developed by Andreas Moritz many years ago, and tens of millions of people have done this. But if you can imagine, I remember I was talking about your car and the operating manual and changing the oil and filter. Well, the oil in our body is our blood. And every drop of blood ends up going through our filter, which is the liver. So you can imagine oil. What would happen if you didn't change the oil or filter in your car? It gets loaded up with a bunch of crud. Same in your body. You end up with stones and microparticles that actually are nothing but toxins in the body.
Right.
So this is not a cleanse, it's a flush. And in this process, and if anybody wants it, all they have to do is let you know, and you can forward it to me. I'll send it to them for free.
Okay.
Because I believe everybody should do this. Because once you blow out all of these toxins out of your liver, oh my gosh, the body can start to heal itself.
So you're saying you have that flush?
Yes, I do it. I do it every quarter, every 3 months.
Okay.
And boy, the last one I did for the husband of a doctor I collaborate with, he had between 30 and 40 stones that he purged out of his body.
God, isn't that something?
Yeah, and what was interesting, he was one of these, yeah, right, prove it to me. When Mount Vesuvius erupted on day 6 and 7, he understood.
Oh my goodness. You're hilarious.
Yeah, but then his comment was, if I had that many, I don't know if I got them all. So I probably have to do this again. So, it's interesting, but like I say, if you give your body the right tools, it'll heal itself. And so that's what I do. I educate people, I help mentor them and lead them through, so that I want everybody to optimize their health, whether they have problems or not. But if they do have problems, let's address them without having to get on the gerbil wheel of pharmacology and sit there and eat drugs left and right. Because drugs do not cure anything. No. Your body will. And I'm not saying that this nutritional technology does, but it does provide the nutrients for the body to heal itself.
Oh, yeah.
So it's amazing. And someone asked me just the other day, well, how much time do you spend with clients? And I said, well, quite frankly, probably only 60%. And they said, why? And I said, it's because I spend 40% of my time doing research. And in doing that research, there are so many really interesting breakthroughs in science today. We talk about the skin and rebuilding the cellular wall of the skin, not only externally, but internally, because that's our first line of defense, especially in this pandemic. Or restoring the respiratory system after someone's had COVID. These are all so important today. And if you don't understand how to do that, then you're miserable for a long time. Oh, yeah. And those drugs that you have taken do collect, the vaccines, they know stay in your body for a long, long time, antibiotics. And the longer they stay, there are some detrimental effects. So you need to get those things out of your body.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. In the chat, I have somebody asking you, are you a medical doctor?
No, and I don't claim to be.
Okay. I was
Now,
making sure I didn't answer for you.
having said that,
Uh-huh.
I was on a flight to Las Vegas just prior to the COVID lockdown in Las Vegas.
Mhm.
And there was a flight attendant who wasn't feeling very well. And I
Mhm.
said, hey, look, let me ask you a couple questions. I'd like to help you. She goes, well, I'm ready for anything. So by the time I'm done, she comes back a half hour later. She's feeling good. And the lady sitting next to me was hammering away on her keyboard on her laptop. She closed her laptop. She says, do you mind if I ask you some questions?
Mhm.
She said, no, not at all. Her first question is, are you a doctor? And I said, nope, don't claim to be.
But maybe it's because there's no knowledge, but you sound so very researched.
Yep, I have a lot of respect for him, but I said no. She says, well, how do you know so much? And I said, because I've spent my whole lifetime learning what I could about gut disease and everything else.
Right.
And she says, well, I have to admit to you that you know more than most of my associates do. And I'm
Well,
going,
there you go.
yeah, it turned out she's a PhD in neurology,
Uh-huh.
a PhD in cardiology, and a PhD in gastroenterology, which is all the areas that I focus on for health. And so Dr. Laura Sullivan, amazing, amazing woman.
Uh-huh.
And she encouraged me to do more research on the cardiovascular areas. So
Sure. It sounds as though it really does fascinate you as well.
now, the good news is this: in terms
Uh-huh.
of being a naturopath, you don't have to be licensed, but you do have parameters you have to work within.
Okay.
So we always say, look, you still need to consult with your physician.
Right.
And I'm finding more physicians today are becoming more open to alternatives.
Right.
Because they know that
Oh yes.
pharmaceuticals
So
and surgery is a last result.
right. And there is so much evidence that the body can heal itself in so many other different cases. I mean, you really have to start taking a look. All right. So I know you have, I looked you up on your website and know that you're doing something. So you have a business someplace that maybe is related to some of the things you've been saying to me. Would you like to take this opportunity to share anything that's brewing there business wise?
One thing I'd really like to talk about that really excites me right now, Micah.
Go ahead. What excites you, Dennis?
It's called cellular restoration, anti-aging, and age reversal.
Okay, that's to make me look 10 years younger like
Yeah.
you.
Look, but it's not just looking younger, it's also feeling
younger. Yeah, I could do with looking and feeling younger for real.
Absolutely. And there have been some incredible breakthroughs in that area. And I was recently asked if I would open up restoration and wellness centers in resorts around the world. And I said, oh, I don't like to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'll go to Bali, I'll go to Dubai, I'll go to Fiji, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be really hard.
Especially like you don't like to travel.
That's right.
Dennis, can I just pause for one moment, please? I'm going to pause for one moment because I have not greeted the people who came in. So I'm going to just quickly greet the people who have come in, the people who have been so very sweet. I'll start right from the top. Oh, guys, I'm so excited. But you know, Mikey's always excited. Oh, my goodness. But it's so good to have all of you. So I was telling Inga just now, I am really scared of doing names because sometimes you miss somebody and somebody else is offended, and I don't want to do that. But I'm going to start from the top. I want to welcome Collins Equi. I want to welcome, let's see. Hold on now. I'm Doreen Humbe. I want to welcome Inga S. I want to welcome Nightstar Beauty. I want to welcome, let's see. Oh, hold on. It went so fast. I didn't miss anybody up there. I want to welcome Toya's Kitchen. I want to welcome, oh my goodness, it happened again, Buta. I want to welcome Mama's Handprint. I want to welcome, I think it went so fast again. Guys, I want to welcome Farming in the City. And I hope I've said hello to everybody. If there's anybody that I missed, please forgive me. I would not intentionally miss anybody because I love it when you're here. You energize me. I like when you're here. I thank you so much for coming. And if there's anybody else that you could call over to get some more of the information that Dennis has here for us, then please do so. All right, so I'm back to you, Dennis. Go right ahead. Where are we?
Well, we were talking about looking and feeling younger.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to forget.
Now, I love helping women look and feel younger, but the point I want to make too is this is for men as well. Where I originally thought a lot of my clients for the aging reversal and anti-aging technology would be a majority women. No, I'm finding men. I probably have 50% women and 50% men.
Right.
Because hey, what stud doesn't want to look good for his woman, you know?
I'm telling you.
Yeah. So if there are any questions in that realm, please have them asked. If not, then what I'll do is I'll go into one of the areas in particular to give them an idea how it works.
Okay. All right. I think I missed Chinge. So I want to say hello, Chinge. I thank you very much for coming. I don't know how I missed you in the chat. And if there's anybody else that I missed, I want to just say thank you all so much for coming. Remember now, if I missed you in the chat, I did not do it intentionally. This is why sometimes I'm really scared of calling names, because sometimes when I'm really excited on my end, I miss some people here. All right, now, Dennis, I think I missed something that you said a while ago. Were you asking me to ask the chat to make questions? I think I just missed that.
If anyone has a question about the skin restoration to look and feel younger, or if they have anything on the anti-aging and age reversal technologies
that they would like to hear about.
Sure.
All right. So Dennis is asking if there's anybody in the chat who has an interest in the whole reversal of age or skin preservation. If you wanted to ask a question, he's willing to answer you. So we're opening up for one or two questions. We still have some more time, Dennis. So if they're not asking me questions, you're just going to have to pick an area and expound on it. I know you can. All right. So Doreen says, yes, please. What do you want to hear? How to get the 10 years off?
How to get the 10 years off. I'll try and keep it simple.
Right.
Remember I spoke early about the liver and gallstone flush? We were talking about removing toxins in the body. Well, you also have them in the skin. How many of us have ever had skin cancer?
I've never had skin cancer.
Yeah, and that's a residual effect of antibiotics, medications, anesthesia, x-rays, all of those things attack the skin. And the skin, being the single largest organ, is so paramount to protect, because without our skin, our water would evaporate and we'd be nothing but dust.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We need the skin.
Now, how do we do that? If you understand that the body actually has a 7-year cycle of rebuilding itself. Okay. And it gets down to the cellular level. So what we're doing, just like the liposomes, we're actually rebuilding the cells and giving them the nutrients so that they're healthy. And we do it internally, so it's from the inside out. And then we also do it externally from the outside in. And we're 99.99% of the skincare products only get through to the first level of the epidermis. It's because the molecular size of the molecules of what they're applying on the skin does not penetrate. So what we do is we take and make it a nanoparticle size, put them in these little bubbles so they actually go all the way down to the third layer of the skin. So by healing from the outside in and the inside out, your skin starts to take a natural course of healing so that, that turkey neck disappears, the
turkey neck.
Yeah, the big, yeah, that's what I call it. The big bags under the eyes disappear, and some of the results are absolutely astonishing. Now, the other thing is everybody knows what collagen is, but collagen is not readily absorbed. So what do? They inject it with needles and everything else. But guess what? It stays where you put it. It doesn't move. So now you put them in these magic bubbles that take it down to the molecular level, and now delivering the collagen. So within a matter of days, 10 to 15 days, you're seeing huge improvements in the skin and also in the joints, because our bodies as we age does not produce as much collagen as when we were young.
Right.
Well, when you start to, help support bone and ligament health, what happens? You don't feel so cranky because you're aching.
Right.
And then when you enter into another realm where we're adding glucosamine, the pain's going away. I find a lot of the athletes I deal with, or weightlifters, they're finding they're getting performance increases because between the glucosamine and the collagen, they're actually supporting the muscle health.
Okay.
And because you're shearing those muscles when you're putting them into extreme conditions.
Correct.
This technology is amazing, but the one that really intrigues me is what they call telomeres.
All right. So you're telling me something new. Tell me about that one.
Everyone knows what chromosomes are. They're an X shape. And on the end of each one, think of it like the fingernails, are what they call telomeres. And each time the chromosomes, which contain all the DNA, which is the coding of our bodies, every time that chromosome splits after about 21 times, those telomeres shrink until the chromosome dies.
Okay.
Now, with COVID, guess what? Those telomeres shrink even faster. You're losing anywhere from 12 to 15 years of your lifespan because of the COVID.
Oh,
so
man.
What this Dr. William Andrews did is he developed these enzymes that help to regrow the telomeres. Hence, you're talking about reversing age. Now, FDA says, we can't call it that. So we say, well, if you give the telomeres to the 2 rats that were tested, the one that was white now has black hair. If you'd have seen my hair 3 months ago, it was totally white. Now you can see hints of black and everything coming back, but the rats are jealous because now I'm starting to turn black. But the point I wanted to make is that when you support your body by regrowing it internally and externally, you feel better, but you also look so much younger.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I talk about, do you want to look and feel 10 to 15 years younger?
All right. Now, in terms of your nutrition now, what are some things that you are kind of like almost making sure it is in your diet that, keeps you so sure that Crohn's will not come back to you? Well,
my specific diet and what I do for each individual client is I do an exhaustive analysis to determine what foods are good for you, what foods you want to take out of your diet. So then from there, we figure out, okay, what do you want to eat? Well, get your lawnmower out because you're going to be eating grass. No, but, plant-based diets are wonderful, but for some people, they're not appropriate. Now, for me, I do believe in getting proteins from meat, fish, poultry, things of that nature. But I hunt, I fish. So I talk about organic foods is because I'm as close to nature as I can get.
Okay.
If you go to New Zealand, they don't use the antibiotics and the growth hormones in their cattle like we do here in the United States. So if you understand where your food is sourced from, you can begin to develop your own personal diet.
Okay.
Not only what you eat, but when you eat it and how much you eat is equally important. Just like water, the kind of water you drink, how much water you drink, and when you drink water also plays a major part in creating that healthy biome in your body. And not just your gut, but your brain, your skin, your lungs, your filter organs, everything.
Okay. All right. Now we're winding down. We have like maybe 15 or so minutes to go. I still am going to say if there's anybody in the audience who has any questions that they'd like to ask, feel free to drop the questions in the chat, and I will direct them to our guest. All right. I noticed that you were saying if you tell people. So is it that you actually have sessions with people to give them some of this education, Dennis?
Yes. What they can do is they can go to my calendar. Unfortunately, I don't have it posted here, but certainly you can redirect them to me and set up a time. And what I do is an exhaustive historical review of who they are, all the way from as early as they have information. I look at their exposure to toxins. I look at what they eat, what they wear, what cosmetics they use, what cleaning products they use. Now that's even before we even get into the food and the dietary issues. So once you understand what a person has experienced in terms of previous illnesses, what medications they might ever have had, all of that really lays out the path to what I call Oz, it lays it all out so we can understand why you have certain things pop up.
Right.
I call them triggers to cause. And so like Shrek, you peel that onion, you get down and find out those triggers, then we can mediate those triggers that cause your symptoms. See, even the dogs agree.
I think he went louder when you said symptoms.
Yes. And then what we're able to do at that juncture is we can come up with a course of action. And of course, I definitely believe that hypnosis plays a major part. We develop a diet plan. We develop an exercise plan. We develop a mindset, because if you believe you can get well, and I always believed I would, someday God would give me the right tools to get well and free of this disease. That mindset plays such a huge part.
Oh, yes.
But so does motion, movement. Our bodies were created, so we need to figure out what kind of activities you need to participate in. And then the final one is sleep. If you don't get proper sleep, I know you want to go to sleep, so just take your time. It is in sleep where we actually heal in that REM mode.
Yes, sleep is just so important for the body.
It is so important. And if we're not getting proper sleep, then we have issues. Then what happens on the very end in terms of what I call lifestyle health coaching is I continue to work with them. You can have the best program in the world. Week 1, they follow it to a T. Week 2, I forgot Wednesday.
Wow.
Week 3, they forgot Tuesday and Friday. And by the 4th week, they're going, what program was I on? So what I do is in that final hypnosis session, is I modify their habits. So when they get up in the morning, every morning it's the same. They pick up their first glass of water, set off the biome, go do a little meditation. Maybe then they go do some exercise, come back, have something to eat, and then they take on their day. But the most important aspect is we all have bad habits, and we need to turn them into good habits.
Habits, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So I want to welcome Liz Dare. I just saw that you came. Let me see if there's anybody who came at a later point. Let's see. All right. I think that was we want to welcome Seasoned on Purpose. Thank you so very much for coming. All right. And I had Miss Chinge vlog at the start, so I want to apologize and welcome you. I don't think I've missed anybody, but remember, if I missed your name, it was just a natural accident. I think I've covered them all. I thank you so much. Thank you so very much for coming. All right, so we still have a few minutes. Water and exercise is great. That's really true. We have to work on getting our exercise in, and I'm sure it's great to get our water in. Driving at the moment, so you can't be active. I thank you so very much, though. All right, and Liz Dare is saying she would love to look younger, but Liz Dare, you made that a new hairstyle. You really do look very young yourself. I don't know. I think you probably took 10 years off too. Oh my goodness, Dennis, time flies when we're having fun. We just a few minutes ago, but I can't tell you how very happy I was to have you. I'm sure the people who are in the chat would love to be in touch with you. So maybe if there's an email address or something that I could share in the chat, I'd be happy to share it in the chat for you.
Yes, if they email me at Chronic Wellness International, that's CHRONIC Wellness, WELLNESS, and the abbreviation for international is INTL. So it's Chronic Wellness INTL at gmail.com.
All right, so I'm putting there CHRONICWELLNESS INTL. So?
INTL at gmail.com. And then if they want to know more about the nutritional technology, they can go to chronicwellness.vaseo.com.
CHRONIC Wellness NESS.
Vaseo.
Spell Vaseo for me.
Yes, VASAYO.com. And for your guests, anyone that would like to...
Dennis, you have to tell me again because my cursor was not in the type bar. I'm sorry. So that's CHRONIC Wellness.
VASAYO.com.
I hope I got it right.
And for any one of your guests, if they mention your name, I will give them a free 30-minute review.
Oh, wow. Did you hear that, guys? There's power in the name, Mikey. So sweet. Oh, my goodness. That was just totally for a laugh, guys. Don't follow me. But Dennis is saying if there's anybody who mentions my name, when you make contact with him, he will give you 30 minutes free assessment.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you should get in touch with him at Chronic Wellness International. It's shortened INTL at gmail.com, and send him an email. If nothing else, tell him how amazing he was this afternoon. Oh, we have the Dennis Wade. I wonder if there's any relationship. I'm just kidding.
The brother from another mother, what can I say?
And she's saying, hello, Dennis Paul.
I'm glad that
oh my goodness, we certainly had fun. Man, you have a spring of life. You have a reason to be here.
Well, all I can say is that you get to a point where you want to live at the speed of life. Nothing holds you back, and you just go for it, you know? And I want to thank you, Mikey, because, you know, very few people do I meet that just, I mean, laughter is medicine.
It is.
It's so healing. And the two things I talk about constantly are three: laughter, hugs, because I love to hug women, and music. So if you're laughing constantly and you're getting 12 hugs a day, and I may up that when I talk with the ladies, but and then music. Music also, you know, is a vibration of energy that is so very healing for you.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So anybody needs a hug out there, let me know, you know.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I noticed that Simple Things Media just popped in. So we had gone over the list already. So we thank you so very much for coming. And we thank you so much for coming Dennis' way. I hope you all are meeting and greeting each other. Oh my goodness. This was really, really an amazing show. I thank you so much. Dennis, I'm really so glad that you searched and found a cure. I'm so very thankful that you are Crohn's disease free. I'm thankful that your sister is also disease free, and I'm just so glad that you're here to share the goodies with all of us, because all of us want to know, all of us want to stay young, all of us want to have our skin, our lives preserved, you know?
Yes.
So I am going to say to anybody who is in the chat, take a hold of Dennis's information, reach out to him. Remember that if you mention Mikey, then he's going to give you a half an hour's worth of consultation, and that's not even going to cost you. So it's not a bad idea. All right, now I still am open to questions. We still have a few minutes. Are there any questions? And Dennis, you could start thinking about any parting words that you'd like to say that will take you 3 minutes before the show is out. Tell me, guys, in the chat, is there anything else that you'd like to ask? Let me see if I had actually missed any questions. If there was anybody who had asked a question earlier and I overlooked it, here's an opportunity for you to just give me that question. If not, Dennis, I'm going to ask you, what parting words do you want to say to my audience this afternoon? What do you want to say that will definitely leave an impact and make sure that at least one or two of them reach out to you just to hear what you have to say?
I would like them to consider that the keys to your restoration are a healthy mind and a healthy body for a healthy life. For what is wealth without health?
Health. I'm telling you. What is wealth without health? As a matter of fact, I'm going to say wealth is health.
It is.
Health is wealth, yeah.
You're a fast study.
I've been hanging out with you. Hey, it's rubbing off.
We're going to have to hang out together again.
Of course. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's really been a while. Where do you network these days? I remember, I think the first time I ever did meet you, we were at a networking event. Where do you network these days?
Yes.
Where do you network these days?
Oh my gosh.
Everything.
Alignable has an amazing health and wellness group, business connections, and also Gabe O'Neill's digital accelerant.
Okay. Well, maybe off the air, we could talk again, and then maybe you could provide me with any links, because I have been really very rusty. I've not been getting notified today.
Yeah, Laws of Life is another one. But let me share those with you because there are some great people in all of those networks.
Right.
And I'm choosy on networks. You know,
I know.
it has
You have to be, because
yes.
you do have to be.
You only have so much time, so you want to.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I know my time's almost up, so I better.
Oh my! I can't remember when I laughed this much. You know something, I was saying, well, we're going to talk to the gentleman about Crohn's disease. It's a show that we normally laugh, but I'm saying this guy is just so pleasant. He's like just a breath of fresh air. I know he's going to be good for my audience, and I'm sure I'm talking on their behalf. You've been good for us this afternoon. It was refreshing.
And again, if they want to come and listen to the humorous competition at Toastmasters, have them contact you for
Oh my goodness, Dennis, it was such a pleasure to have you. And I'm going to say, if you ever want to come back, you just send me an email and I'll make it happen.
Wonderful. Mikey, thank you so much. God bless you. And thank you, everybody that came to join us. I appreciate it.
I certainly had a good day. Thank you, my wonderful audience. Thank you so very much for being here. My guest, thank you so very much. It has been a pleasure. And parting is really such sorrow.
Be well and prosper.
Until next week, guys, it's your host, Mikey Laugh. Oh, no, it's not your host, Mikey Laugh. It's Mikey, your host from the Mikey Laugh Show, saying, see you soon.